Hey, welcome back. My name is John. This is 1968 Firebird convertible that I'm building for my dad. And been working on it here. Got all the sheet metal work squared away, but I was trying to debate what to do here with this seam. First gen F body, 67 through 69, Firebird or Camaro convertible has this seam. The factory will actually lay the two panels. This is like the filler panel, quarter panel. Lay them on top of each other. It's got a little indention. They spot weld it, load it full of lead. That's fine, except for I took all the lead out and put the new panels on. So what's the alternative of putting this back together? There's three choices that I can think of. Load it full of body filler, not my favorite. Rework the lead, I'm not really good at it. Or plan C, that's what we're gonna get into here today. Gonna make a piece of metal and then actually weld that in place. Still gonna require a little bit of body filler, but I wanna try to get it within the acceptable, 1/8 inch, 1/16 of an inch or less of filler. So definitely a better alternative. So you wanna see how that's done? Check this out. So we're gonna call this getting the lead out. I kind of done something like this once before on the GTO, because your hard tops, you'll have like a seam up here where the sail panel meets the roof. Do the same thing. They have an overlapping panel, they load it full of lead. So this technique can be used in any situation where they have a lap welded component and they load it full of lead, so we can actually make a strip of metal to put in there. Now the factory coupe though, they have the panel where it lines up here and here and comes together, similar to how it goes down here on the bottom of the quarter panel, that seam like that. In that case, leave that alone. That's how it's supposed to be. Now, what we're gonna do though, I want to show you what we have here. We get my straight edge. See the edge here has a little dimple. They have it cut out and then a recess here. That'll spot weld it all through here from the factory. So that means then the rest of it inherently is a little bit lower. But you can tell the leading edge, we're actually really close. I think we're 64th of an inch or less. That looks pretty good. Get here about the middle. Of course, this is a step down flange. So of course, then you start to see the gap start to form. Try to get the camera down here and so on and so forth. Then we get here to the rear of the panels. They're about on the same plane, so that looks pretty good. So the idea is we're going to make a template that matches this here, comes around here, here, and then I'll actually bend it down to go inside the trunk jam. We'll weld that solid. And I'll see if I can't recreate this contour here. And then we're gonna basically just stitch weld here on this side, stitch weld here, around here, here, and across that. Then we'll buff out the welds and we'll see how close we can get it. And that's, if whatever deviations we'll have then, that's all the more body filler we'll need. So first things first, get this truck deck out of the way to get some room to work. Here we go. Now, for my next trick, this will be in my way, so let's do this. Alright. So let's get started. Leftover seal boxes work great for templates. I want to come down to this edge here. I'm going to leave this gap kind of like it is and kind of fill it. A little bit of seam sealer. It's kind of more of a factory-esque repair, I guess you could say, but get the bend here. Okay. Now the trick sometimes is to figure out where the heck the ridge is. Now if it was a sharper ridge, you could drag your nail across it maybe and get it to show up, but that's just not sharp. It's pretty lame. So what I'll do, man, I got an idea. I do like these magnets. This will help hold it in place while I start to cut away here. Wiggling around. That magnet just isn't holding today. Must be because it's like 90 degrees here in the shade, about 80% humidity, which makes it fantastically warm today, but I'm not going to complain. It was just not that long ago I was complaining that it was kind of cold. So, okay, now that's lined up with that edge really nice. Now this is the more complicated side. I think I can get, oh, there we go. Ooh, where's my marker? There, it's in the marker tray. What I'm kind of doing is I can feel it just a little bit, the indentation from the panel here. Now what is that saying? Measure once, cut twice, so we'll make it a little large. We'll trim it back to fit. These are not safety scissors, so there's a chance I could cut myself. Unlike in kindergarten, right? These are a donation from a viewer, and I'll tell you what, these things will cut just about anything. Love them. They're super handy, so. Really kind of meant for interior work, but they're handy. Okay. All right, well, I'll have to trim it back a little bit. Oh, there we go. Well, that's lining up in there nice. Trim this back a hair. Now there's a chance you can reverse this template there for the driver's side. Depending how closely they were matched up, that's fitting in the groove good. So I got the trim where I have little black markers out there. I think we got it. Now I'll leave that a little bit long. We're going to do the little Z bend or whatever the shape is in there to get that to line up. But take this back just a little bit. And I think that's a winner. Alright, so it only took, what, a couple minutes there to make up. But you can see now, we're going to line up here with our edge. We're in our recessed area. So if this is a piece of metal and all welded in, heck, we'd be doing really good. Where did I put my little straight edge at? There it is. It's always the last place you look. Funny how that works. Now the thing about the metal is the cardboard is going to kind of sag right now, but as I work the metal, I can keep working that and trying to keep the height of the metal to keep that gap closed. But I'm only going to weld the outside edges of it here. But I think this is ready to transfer to a piece of metal and get it cut and put into place. What I've done, I guess I'm just cheap, but old piece of toe boards, you can tell here. Nice piece, almost perfect. That edge is actually really nice. I'm just going to boop, 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 cut that right out. All cut out pretty close. Actually cut out pretty nice. So I'm going to save this for the other side because it might actually work for the driver's side. And lines up good here. And let's see. There's when I weld this in, I take a little bit of that weld out. It's sticking up on it. Didn't feel that in the cardboard template. That's all right. Now what we'll do though, I need to mark it where I need to bend this to match. And I've got the same thing going here. I got a little kick in that there. So we're going to grind that down just a little bit, make those bends. That's better. Now that'll lay in there. That'll lay in there a little better. Okay. Now, I like to use these here for making kind of like a metal brake or bending. It just works nice. It's a portable brake, you know? Pretty tight bend. Let's just do it this way. Let's just hope we didn't just screw that all up. Need to trim it down. It's a little long. I'm gonna trim off a little bit off this end here. Guess I should mark it. We're gonna take off that much. There we go. I like that. Line it up. Now I work the little bend in here. I think we can start stitching that thing into place. Now I'll work this with a hammer. Get it lined up kind of like that last video. Get really fine tuned, but you get the idea. So I'll make these little bends for this part here. This stuff actually bends by hand pretty good. Go that side. Yep. Bent that in the wrong spot. It's okay. It bends back. Hey, much better. Cool. Now I can weld this into place and we'll trim that down once we're happy with it. Let's get the old welder out. You know, I think about it. I just got done buzzing some of this paint off. A lot of schools of thought on this. Corrosion. It's an air pocket. You're going to have issues in there, right? Yep. Sure am. If you've ever had experience removing lead, you will find that there's rust under the lead. You fill it full of body filler, you still have an opportunity for water, and you're going to get corrosion under there. There really isn't any way that I know of that prevents it 100%. So they all have their faults, but they all have corrosion issues. The only way I guess you could say you could, you might come back here, cut it back here, cut it back here, and make a panel over top of it. But then I think then you lose some of the structural welding that holds the car together. So I don't know. This is to me the lesser of all the evils, and we're going to go with it. We're going to touch up the spots here. And this stuff when it's wet kind of contaminates welds. We don't got time to wait for it to dry. Too much to do and no time to do it, right? Oh, now that's positioned. I'll use my magnet. I think. Now, like I said, I'll tack this corner and we'll work it into place, hopefully. I think that's going to work. Well, let's get busy burning. Where it lines up real good, I'm going to go ahead and tack it. Turn that welder up. That's a little better. Now this can go out of the way. I've learned those magnets sometimes interrupt the the weld. Somehow the magnetic field, I don't know. Something I've seen seen before. Pop my welding. Buzz that booger off. And we'll try that again. That sounded better. Yeah, much better. Okay, now. That's definitely not going anywhere. Okay. What's that look like? You're thinking, right, well, here we go. All buffed out. Now, there's some little blemishes I could probably weld a little bit more on and clean it out. But I think for the most part, you'll get the idea. Lay this on here, my gap. There is a place to put some filler in here, but we're within our acceptable tolerance of less than an 1/8 inch, close to about a 1/16 of an inch. Now, these panels weren't parallel level to begin with, so to bridge that gap and only end up with this, I'm pretty happy with that. So now you see how that can be done. An alternative method than using lead or body filler, just only body filler. So I put some on here, obviously, but I think it's an acceptable, tolerable amount. Now we do the same thing there to the driver's side. So there you have it. All said and done, that's not too big of a project. And you can use this on convertibles, sail panels, any place there's a lead seam, you can make your little panel and put in there. Again, you're going to have some people saying, no, they got an air gap between the panels, but hey, I'm just showing you a different way or something to think of, just the same. But nonetheless, I'm going to wrap it up here for today because it is 11 billion degrees. It looks like it's going to rain. I need to close up shop. It looks like blue skies, but it's turning gray. And Dad's here too playing cards just the same. So appreciate you following me on the journey of the Lamborghini. We'll grab the camera and we'll catch you all next time.